Tonight on Real School.
We're going to do everything within our power to keep their students safe.
An important message for the community, from our district leadership to even the governor.
The most important thing we can do is take care of our students. Everybody wants to be safe.
We're taking a closer look at security in our schools, the measures, the protocols, and what you can do to help keep our campuses safe. Plus, it's the UK meets the USA right inside our schools. Find out how this innovative program is using the World Wide Web to bridge the gap between Jacksonville, London, and a host of other cities, all in the name of some pretty neat lessons. And they've got the strength, the prowess, and the excitement. We're in the stands for this year's Duval County Summer Games. Watch to learn why this event is less about scores and more about social skills, all meant to impact students in the long run. We've got those stories and so much more. Real School starts now.
We begin this evening with a question. Can parents feel safe about sending their students to Duval schools? Ask our top district leaders, and the answer is a resounding yes. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Real School. I'm Will Nowak. School safety remains an important topic here in Duval County and at the state level. In fact, school safety was the reason behind this recent news conference at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, led by Florida Governor Rick Scott. We were there as he addressed a group of news reporters and leaders. He was joined on the platform by our superintendent, Dr. Patricia Willis, and school police chief, Michael Edwards. In light of recent events in Parkland, Florida, Governor Scott spoke at length about the importance of enhancing safety measures in our schools, and also about maintaining open communication with local law enforcement.
The most important issue today is the school safety for kids. Clearly, when they're sending their child to school, they want that child to come home safe.
Today, we're going in depth with our leadership, exploring the everyday measures we take to keep our campuses safe. We now go to Real School reporter Patrick Glynn. He joins us with the latest.
Will, this isn't just about what the district is doing to keep students safe. It's also about what the parents, students, and community can do to help. In fact, one of the first safety measures any of us can take begins right here at the front door. Ask Superintendent Dr. Patricia Willis how she feels about school safety, and there's no doubt in her mind.
School should be a safe haven. If students aren't safe, they can't do their best learning, and teachers can't do their best teaching.
That's why the district works continuously to maintain an environment fit for our most precious asset, children. This can be seen in everything from building protocols to support services offered,
Duval Crisis Hotline,
and to the partnerships we have in place. So let's start with the typical school building.
If individuals walk into the building, that they do enter the main office. They have a pass when they walk down the hall, and if they don't, then someone, adult, will say, "May I help you?"
And when it comes to our classes, you should know there are plenty of precautions in place there too.
Classroom doors are to be locked when students are behind those doors.
Dr. Willis goes on to say that each of our schools is equipped with safety teams, classroom management plans, discipline plans, and they all regularly conduct school-wide drills. And you want to know something that makes our district unique? We have our own highly trained police force. Many of them, including our chief, once worked for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. By having our own police force, officers are able to focus exclusively on the schools they're assigned to, always remaining ready to respond.
They know our schools, they know school layouts, they become a part of the school fabric, they know students' relationships.
For the different situations and concerns that may arise throughout the year, all schools are supported with crisis intervention teams that include psychologists and social workers. The district also offers support through a number of hotlines, including one for bullying and another for mental health concerns. Finally, leaders say they need your help. Talk to your students and monitor their social media activity. Let leaders know if something just doesn't seem right. And as always, see something, say something.
I want to ensure parents and students that we are being very vigilant about what's happening in our schools. If there's any kind of a threat, we take every one of them seriously. Even if it looks like it's a repeat to us, we investigate everything that comes.
You should know that our district is always looking at ways to improve school safety. For a closer look at our protocols, just go to duvalschools.org and look under About Us. For Real School, I'm Patrick Lynn. Back to you.
Thanks, Patrick. She was a civil rights activist, educator, and sculptor with North Florida roots. Today, her legacy lives on in Duval County, and it's all thanks to a brand new garden in the heart of one of our schools. You're looking at video of the Augusta Savage Sculpture Garden at Douglas Anderson School of the Arts. While most of the pieces you see here were produced by students, many were also made by visiting artists. School leaders say, in naming the garden after Savage, they're bringing light to her many artistic contributions. For example, Savage was known for sculpting clay busts. Because Douglas Anderson students make clay busts in class each year, teachers felt it was only fitting to tie their artwork to her memory. But that's not all.
I think when they do some research about Augusta Savage, they may be able to relate to some of the challenges that she faced and see that she was successful, and I think it may empower them to realize that everyone faces challenges and some people face more challenges than others, but she was very successful and significant as an artist.
By the way, this project was about a year in the making. We're told students took a major role in everything from landscaping to development. We think they did a great job. Imagine having the chance to speak face-to-face with other students in another country without ever leaving American soil. It's a concept made real for the students in our next story, and it's all the result of a unique program. Real School anchor Gracie Marsh is here with the high-tech details.
Will, I can tell you that technology isn't the only thing bringing these students across the globe together. What we see in this innovative international program is an important theme that affects all of us all over the world. One day, they're in the classroom, Skyping with students from London.
They bring in stuff from home.
Most people in Jacksonville might not be able to do that.
On another day, they're visiting a Jacksonville farm, learning about produce.
This is the line that we want to have the soil up to.
I like that we can learn about innovations about food and farming and learn the ways of farming.
If it seems like there's no way these two activities can go hand in hand, well, think again. Because through the Global Scholars Program, students all over the world are making connections and learning important lessons all through the World Wide Web.
It's like nothing that I've ever done before. When I was in school, we just didn't have this technology. And so now, no matter what your time zone is, no matter where you live, the technology has brought the world together.
That's Charlotte Joyce. She facilitates this program for about 50 sixth graders at Joseph Stilwell Military Academy of Leadership. Through Global Scholars, her students are spending the year working with students in London, Madrid, Barcelona, Mumbai, Taipei, Tbilisi, New York, and Hawaii, where students normally communicate and work on projects through discussion boards and videos like this.
Hello, my name is Connor.
Hello, my name is Reagan.
Our cameras were there as students participated in their very first Skype session with this class in England. As you can imagine, students had lots of questions.
The question I want to ask is, what is the most famous fruit and vegetable in your country?
If you're wondering why students are asking about food, it's because this year's theme is Feeding Our Cities. All year, students have learned about and worked on projects centered around nutrition, sustainability, and farming. Through their communications with students around the world, they're learning about what their peers eat, how they grow food, and the challenges they face.
I think a lot of the students take that for granted. They go to the grocery store and they just think that it magically appears, when it doesn't. I mean, it takes a lot of work. Our farmers and ranchers do a lot to make sure that we have what we need.
When they're not on the computer, Stilwell students are taking field trips like these and even growing their own food. Another added bonus, the program is also giving students a chance to learn about each other.
I'm Shaylin, and what are your school lunches like?
It's a unique opportunity these students say they don't take for granted.
I feel blessed because some students in this country don't really have the opportunity to Skype.
We definitely look forward to hearing more about Skype sessions. By the way, Global Scholars is for students ages 10 to 13, And it's a requirement that the participants know how to speak English. For Real School, I'm Gracie Marsh. Back to you.
Thanks, Gracie. Now we go from traveling across the globe to traveling across the Intercoastal. It's to a place where thousands of Duval students year-round get to dive deep into marine biology. Here's Real School reporter Sean Bussey with the scoop.
Will, it's not every day you can go from researcher to beachcomber in just one day. But with the Marine Science Education Center, it's all possible. Just see for yourself.
So we've got 100 milliliters in this one, 100 milliliters in this one.
For as many rooms as there are in this building, a different academic adventure awaits. Here in room 8, it's using lab equipment to learn about how salt and sand dissolve in water.
We're stirring it.
In the museum, students are attaching real-life images to the scientific terms they've learned about in class.
I didn't really know what a vertebrae was, so that was something I learned.
In the wet lab, students are coming in contact with sea creatures through the glass of an aquarium and through the touch of this water tank.
Whenever we observed the tanks, I really liked the big yellow eel that was in there.
Intrigued? Good! Guys, this is the Marine Science Education Center in Mayport, a building that houses programs and opportunities completely unique to our school district.
Most of the oxygen we breathe comes from the ocean, and we're surrounded by water here in Jacksonville. So to me, understanding the marine life and everything is very important to us.
And you know what? District leaders tend to agree. So much so, they ask that 5th graders from all of our schools come here for field trips, which is why these students from Crown Point Elementary are here. Everything students learn is aligned with their 5th grade science curriculum. So really, it's the perfect combination of educational and enriching.
Instead of just having to picture it in our mind, we could see it up close.
The anemones, they were like really cool. Like they would be sitting in your hand and you wouldn't feel them in the water, but then you pick them up and they just like flop down.
As students visit each destination, they work through these data booklets, making observations and answering questions. But the journey doesn't stop in this building. Trips always end with a visit to the beach, where students decorate water jugs to collect items in. All experiences, leaders believe, will not only enhance their learning, but also inspire them to new opportunities.
They may go back and read up on things and look up things that they didn't even know they were interested in, because they just get a little sampling of different things here that they don't get to have when they're back at their regular school. So I think that's what helps a lot. You know, they may get more engaged in math. Who knows what they're going to pick up.
And to get an idea on how many students come through the center each year, just think in the thousands, as in more than 8,000. To the folks at the center, we think you're doing a great job. For Real School, I'm Sean Bussey. Back to you.
Thanks, Sean. Coming up on Real School, we're entering a new season of school choice. But do you know what it takes to apply to and get into a choice program? After the break, we're bringing you the details and the deadlines tied to the process. Keep watching as we hear from our district's choice coordinator with a breakdown you don't want to miss. Plus, it's the sweet sounds of a chart-topping musician inside one of our schools. We're on the front row of a special performance at Westside High School. Stay tuned to find out what brought this international recording artist to the home of the Wolverines. And learning about science just got way cuter over at Kernan Trail Elementary School. In moments, we're filling you in on the exciting experiment that brought these chirping chicks to the classroom. And it's video you'll only see here. Don't change the channel, Real School will be right back.
If I know she's coming in and she's not having a great day, then I try to do something to brighten up her day.
Especially when you bring Panera?
Yes.
Well, you all know who I am. And yet you still ask me if I can pull a rabbit out of my hat. Well, you know, the truth is I'm not a magician. And I've seen some of the greatest magicians in the world, but I've never met a magician that can do magic. They just do tricks. They use these magic words that don't mean anything. But there are 3 magic words that will work in every aspect of your life. But you can't just say these words. You have to use these words. And they're very simple. I often give them to students all over the country. Most of the time I ask you to repeat them after me, but since I'm not there with you now, let me leave you with 3 of the most important words that you will ever use in your life. Read. Read. Read.
I spend more time with my colleagues on the weekdays than I do my own family, so they are my family 5 days a week. So it's like you're always conversing about what's going on in life and you're going through it together.
Welcome back to Real School. It's an event of Olympic proportions, promoting athleticism in all abilities. Let's go to Real School reporter Tiana Walsh. She joins us now with the footage.
Well, talk about some exciting playback, because for these athletes, it's about much more than the prize. It's about the love of the game and each other. On a bright and sunny Saturday morning, the signage was up and the stands were packed. Students and teachers hit the track in droves for the opening ceremony, and it all led to this moment. With the bearing of this Olympic torch, the games could finally begin.
And with that, I hereby declare the 2018 Duval County Summer Games officially open!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 Summer Games of the Special Olympics, Florida, Duval County.
We really try and focus on just the joy that we want to bring to all of our athletes' lives.
Taking place at Atlantic Coast High School, just over 100 students from 8 Duval schools took their positions among this group of local athletes. And they wasted no time hitting the ground running, figuratively and literally.
And he's just so excited. Each day, each week, he said, "Oh, Daddy, Olympics, Olympics."
When they announced the Olympics for this year, he laid his clothes out for like 2 weeks in advance. They were just laid out and ready to go.
From start to finish, the offerings were as diverse as the participants. From track and field events like shot put, to a tennis and softball throw, and then there were soccer skills, soccer games, relay races, and so much more. In the midst of the competition, it was easy to see the camaraderie. Organizers tell us that's the point.
We really want people to come out and to gather those friendships, to get that confidence that you get from not only winning a race, but by running a race and to finishing it and all the cheering around it.
There's kids here that Hunter went to preschool with, and so we lost contact, but through Special Olympics, we get to see them pretty much every year because everybody shows up for this event.
But beyond building friendships, leaders say they also hope to teach participants some other sportsmanlike qualities, like inclusion. This is done through something called the Unified Champion Schools program. And on this day, many of these schools and students were a part.
That means that we have unified partners, which are typical ability students playing with our athletes that have intellectual differences, and we put them on the same team, and so they're playing together to really promote just respect and dignity.
Through the passing, tossing, cheering, and scoring, most here will tell you that, in the end, it all goes back to the Special Olympics athlete's oath. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
We cheer for everybody, and it's like they said, it's not about winning, it's about the attempt, you know, the bravery, the trying.
And guess what? The Summer Games didn't stop with sports. In between events, students were also able to get free eye screenings in the cafeteria. A big win for everyone. For Real School, I'm Tiana Walsh. Back to you.
Thanks, Tiana. He's a rising star who recently made his way from across the pond into the U.S., visiting one of our high schools. That's Declan McKenna, British alternative rock recording artist performing at our very own Westside High School. McKenna comes to the States thanks to his North American tour. As a part of his trip, he's also visiting more than a dozen high schools. McKenna not only treated students to a special acoustic concert, he also took time to interact with them through a Q&A session. By the way, Westside marks one of his first school visits in the States. Sounds pretty cool. Thanks for coming, Declan. Looking to get into a choice program for the 2018-2019 school year? Now's the time to take action. As Real School anchor Tavion Johnson reports, the deadline to apply is just around the corner. Tavion, what do parents and students need to keep in mind?
Well, when it comes to applying to choice programs, information is your friend, and we've got plenty of it. We sat down 101 with our district's coordinator of school choice. Here are some of her top tips. First things first, if you're interested in applying to a choice program, it's probably a good idea to know what that means. One thing to keep in mind, Choice programs and magnet programs are not the same.
So the definition of a choice program is simply a special program that allows students to participate in an educational opportunity that is not offered in their neighborhood school. So an example would be if I notice my student is really into science and my neighborhood school doesn't offer a science academy, but I know that Avis Park does. So then I would put in that choice application so that my student can attend Avis Park.
If you need help exploring what choice programs are available, we've made that easy. Get a copy of this year's School Choice Reference Guide. So now that you're ready to apply, what's next?
Our applications will be available April the 2nd. You can download it from our website, or you can come in and pick up the application. So as soon as you get the application, the first thing you're going to do is, of course, fill out the demographic information. And then you're going to go and tour your neighborhood school, not the school that you're choosing to go to, but the school that you're zoned to go to. You would go to that school and the principal will sign off on it.
One way the choice process is like the magnet is that there is a lottery system with priorities.
Choice goes by the lottery, and they have priorities, and they range from 2 to 5. So 2 being employee and military, 3 if you have a sibling that's already at that school, and 4 because you receive that principal's signature, and 5 if you just turned in the application.
Applications will be accepted from April 2nd to May 15th at 4:30 p.m. Results will be mailed out in mid-June, and if you do get into a choice program, you need to know this about transportation.
So the major thing is transportation is not provided. If you desire for your child to go to a choice school, then you are responsible for the transportation.
The Choice Office will be hosting an information session on Thursday, April 12th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the District Administration Building. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always call the number on your screen or send an email to school_choice@duvalschools.org. We wish you all the best. For Real School, I'm Tavion Johnson. Back to you.
Thanks, Tavion. Coach, leader, and teacher. He's an educator known for wearing many hats, but perhaps the most important one of all, life changer. Coming up on Real School, we're heading inside the classroom for this month's teacher feature. Meet the instructor challenging his students to graduate beyond their comfort zone by taking a look at real-world issues. But for now, stay right here. Real School will be right back.
Any issue I have that's not just school related. Like I've come to her with so many just regular life problems, and I know that there's nothing that I can't talk to her about. Anything that I feel that I need to talk to her about, she's always there to listen and she's always there to give advice, and her advice is great.
Sometimes okay.
But I mean, she's become one of my closest friends, and that's really nice knowing that you work with one of your closest friends.
Welcome back to Real School. When it comes to bringing in-classroom lessons to life, you could say this next teacher hatched a pretty neat idea. Welcome to Miss LeMay's second grade classroom at Kernan Trail Elementary, where her newest pupils don't speak, but tweet. The math and science teacher wanted to provide her students with a live-action demonstration of the life cycle of a chicken. Thanks to a grant, Miss LeMay's class was able to start with eggs and incubators, and they eventually saw these baby chicks come to life before their eyes. Now they have some pretty cute and cuddly classmates. And you should hear some of their names: Blackberry, Buddy, and Marshmallow, just to name a few. This is the second year Miss LeMay's class has embarked on the project, and we can guarantee you these chicks are bringing smiles to a lot of students and staff all over the school. For our final story of the day, we meet a teacher going beyond the books in preparing his students for life after high school. He's the subject of this month's teacher feature. Here's his story in his own words.
My name is Blake Klein. I teach AP Lit, English 4, and Leadership here at Atlantic Coast High School. And I coach boys soccer and tennis, and I absolutely love Stingray Nation. What you see is what you get with me. I don't act any different at home or out with friends than I do, here in the classroom.
Are you sure?
I think when the kids are able to see that you're someone that's real, I think it allows them to kind of be confident in letting their walls down. So I feel that as an educator, you can really tap into kids and their potential if you're able to build a relationship. So that's something that I work on from day one when they walk in the room, is just be yourself and know that everybody is going to get a little bit of, you know, Coach Klein attitude, and it's because I'm trying to tap in and find out who you really are.
So these are things that are specifically written into law into some states.
Students, they're willing to work for people that they know are vested in them and that are willing to just be there for them. And he just does a great job of just really building relationships with students. And through that, you're able to see that students are willing to do whatever it takes for him, and they want to make him proud. He always wants to have fun with the students, and there's always great and unique things that are happening in his room.
All of these things are key qualities.
So the leadership class is pretty much the heartbeat of the school. It gives the kids some ownership and some relationship with the school that they might not necessarily have, but then they learn skills in here that apply on a larger scale. Group communication, planning, goal setting, organization, and ethics. The students get exposed to things that they might not necessarily come in contact with in a regular academic class.
He does a great job of supporting seniors and making sure that they make it to graduation, but he holds students accountable, and he does not, you know, take his foot off the pedal when it comes to that.
So teaching is definitely, the outcome is more important than the income. And seeing a kid go off to college and come back and tell me, you know, something they learned in the classroom for me was great, or maybe a life lesson we talked about in school, or a conversation we had one day, comes back and helps them. Just seeing them go off and succeed from something that Atlantic Coast or myself played a part in is always kind of the benefit.
That's it for this episode of Real School. We may be done for the day, but the good news always continues. We'll be back with a new episode on Sunday, May 6th at 6 p.m. right here on the CW. In the meantime, you can always keep up with us on YouTube and social media. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, have a great day. Remember, Duval, stay fresh.
Will, when it comes to applying to choice programs.
Will, this isn't just about what the... Oops.
We definitely look forward to hearing more about Skype. We definitely
We'll talk about some I'm sorry. Okay.
As in more than 8,000. I forgot that last part again.